Hey, how's it going my fine sirs? My name is SirEarlGrey and welcome to another review. The last one on the PS4 VR games did amazingly well, which made me especially happy considering one of you sirs asked for that video. Today is another one of your recommendations. A complete and up-to-date list of my favourite indie games. Now if you've been following the channel, you know that I've played a lot of indie games in my time, and some have been definitely better than others. So you could say I'm an expert on the subject. So, let's begin.
Solus 3, this is Prolus Command. Please report.
Save yourself.
The Solus Project had all the tropes. It was in early access, only had a few reviews, and mainly focused on survival and crafting. But this game is a diamond in the rough, and my gamble paid off with an enjoyable and surprisingly deep experience. The concept is simple. Your ship gets shot down from space, and you land on this alien world, with nothing but debris to help you survive the freezing nights, baking daytimes, titan typhoons, and that's right, freaking meteor showers. Now both the typhoons and the showers can occur randomly, and are absolutely beautiful. Surprisingly, the game even sprinkles in a few scary segments which I wouldn't classify as horror, but they definitely put me on edge in some of the dark and claustrophobic environments. Despite all this, the game isn't high on the ranking because of its survival mechanics. I know this may sound weird, but why do I need to drink and eat all the time? Why are the key items so rare? Why can I get stuck for hours in a cold, dark cave with little chance of escape? These small but annoying little mechanics don't really add to the game, but rather subtract your attention from the story and the journey. All in all, the Solus Project makes you feel like Indiana Jones in space. Its 5 chapters make up an exciting and daring adventure into the history of a lost civilization. And the best thing is, all of this can be experienced in VR. Divinity Original Sin is deep. Just like a good high fantasy book, DOS sucks you into a world rich with mystical lore, magical creatures, and epic quests bound tightly together with a great sense of humour. Much of the story is conveyed through conversation trees, which may branch out unexpectedly depending on your character's starting attributes and their choices throughout the game. Your Source Hunter's unique abilities also play a critical part in DOS's turn-based combat, which, believe it or not, is actually my favourite feature of the game. I don't know about you sirs, but I'm not usually a fan of waiting around and painstakingly planning my next move with limited options, but DOS's intricate combat brings battles to life with a wide breadth of skills, elemental combos, and rapidly changing environmental effects, which even tie into your questing. I'm telling you sirs now, don't stand in water. However, despite its numerous strengths and self-deprecative nature, I wouldn't classify DOS as accessible. At times I felt I was rereading the Silmarillion, losing sight of the immediate story and ultimate goal. This definitely isn't helped by the sheer amount of reading you'll have to do. All in all though, Divinity Original Sin is a brilliant turn-based RPG from Larian Studios, who did not only release an enhanced version of the game, which I've unfortunately not played, but is also going to release a sequel, well, not quite today, but on the 14th of September of this year. Titan Souls and Jotun are games you hate to love, just like Dark Souls.
Just like Dark Souls!
Titan Souls is seriously hard. All the enemies are bosses, every attack kills you in one hit, and you are armed with a single magical bow and arrow. The hook is though, all your enemies can also be killed instantaneously with one well-placed shot in their unique weakness, whether it be a big giant eye or a pair of rosy butt cheeks. Now these are pretty obvious and easy to hit early on, but later, bosses become incredibly challenging. Unfortunately though, the pretty pixel graphics and the thrill of victory may not be enough for casual players to overcome the incredibly steep difficulty curve. Jotun on the other hand is a little bit more forgiving. Your axe-wielding shield maiden has augmentable health bars and unlockable special abilities. Now I'm not saying the game is easy, it's still really hard, but instead focuses on illustrating a journey through beautiful worlds inspired by Norse mythology. The soundtrack is also first class, with some epic boss themes which still give me goosebumps to this day. You might even pick up some Viking through the beautiful narration. If you don't mind dying over and over again and rage fuels your soul, then these small but incredibly rewarding indie games have got you covered.
I always thought it's hard to make new friends, but making enemies, I guess that's easy. We got 4 problems. We saw their faces. We know their names. Know what they're capable of. They'll find us again. They'll find you and finish the job. Unless you find them first.
Making this list made me realize that turn-based combat may not be as bad as I originally thought. Transistor's highly customized and tactical battles far outshine the hectic fights of the developer's previous game, Bastion. Most fights are straightforward even with my basic understanding of combos, but I was challenged later on when more diverse monsters join the fight and during some bosses. The gameplay is fun, laced with humor, and set in an alien but oddly familiar cyberpunk setting. The characters, a drop-dead redhead singer and her talking sword, complement the threatened and brightly coloured world. The story is strange and vague, but remains powerful, mysterious and thought-provoking. All of this is nicely tied together with an exceptional soundtrack which combines elegant vocals, electro and jazz. If Supergiant continues to polish their games, then Pyre, which was released recently, must be amazing. I first bought Limbo thinking it was an innocent puzzle platformer with a particular monochromatic style. I was very wrong. Even though Playdead's Limbo and Inside might have similar mechanics to Mario, they are dark almost to the point of malevolence. Think of The Shining. It's almost as creepy and evil. Both of the stories are simple. We play a little boy looking for someone running across a two-dimensional world while avoiding traps and enemies. However, your first death will make you realise that both games are violent, clashing the innocence of the protagonist against the brutality of their world. There is no gore, no horror as such, just a strong sense of unease and distaste for the slavery and human experimentation unfolding before you. The dash of colour and pseudo 3D levels of Inside do not warm the game, but instead reinforce the realism with incredible animations. While rereading the script, I realised I haven't particularly sold these games very well. Just keep this in mind though, these are unforgettable adventures of underdogs surviving the harshest conditions, where boyhood crashes against grim violence. The puzzles are not only complex towards the end, but also inventive in their design and feel contextualised in the incredibly detailed world. The game portrays incredibly complex themes and deep story for their genre, an amazing feat for such simple and humble IPs. If Limbo and Inside are dark and dreadful platformers, then Rime is the complete opposite. With saturated colours, sweeping vistas and overall peaceful aura, Rime is a relaxing adventure through a mysterious island. One of the first things you'll notice when you awake on the island shores is the complete lack of heads-up display. Everything in the game is intuitive and streamlined, where the controls and the mechanics are to be explored very much like the game itself. Even though your quest is linear, you feel and are encouraged to roam free and explore. Even though not a word is said, the game conveys awe, excitement, and even some emotions I'm still not ready to talk about towards the finale. I've heard Rime compared to Journey and The Witness. Even though I've only seen playthroughs of both, let me say this. Rime isn't supposed to be challenging like The Witness or its story abstract like Journey. It's simply its own game in its own right, bringing in elements from The Legend of Zelda and Shadow of the Colossus. Is the game perfect? Of course not, but Rime left an indelible impression on my soul throughout its story, gameplay, and most importantly, through its unforgettable score of orchestral music. If you had told me 6 months ago that a new online shooter would overtake CSGO in the Steam charts, well, I would have probably shot you myself for such heresy. Yet here we are in September 2017, 6 months after PUBG's release and over 10 million copies sold while still in early access. That's what, like £260 million? That's insane! Now, if you've been following the channel, you sirs know that I usually don't like first-person shooters or online shooters or anything like that, mainly because I suck at them. Yet here I am with over 100 hours in the game, which may seem like rookie numbers, but for me it actually totals a huge amount of time considering its genre and its complete lack of story. Why do I like it? Because it's simple. Yes, there are tactics you learn and weapons handled differently, but at its core, PUBG's concept is extremely accessible, especially when you play with friends. It's incredibly entertaining to see games go from desperate looting to strategic positioning to all-out hell from one second to another. You're never truly safe, but neither are your enemies. The odds can be stacked against you, but if you're skillful enough, smart enough, you can still win. Even a noob like me can win a few chicken dinners. You would think the singular map and the game's harshness would put some people off, but to me the pressure to weigh your every move is intoxicating and only makes a sweeter victory. I'm really excited to see what PlayerUnknown releases when the full game comes out, but I really hope that people don't become too good. If not, I'll never win again. And here we are, sirs, right at the end of the list. Have you guys figured out what the last game is yet? I'll give you a hint. It has a female protagonist, it has a strong narrative, and it's made by Don't Nod Entertainment. That's right, it's... Remember Me! No, but in all seriousness, it's Life is Strange. Man, these 5 episodes are good. excellent even. I can already hear my housemate going, "Oh, it's just teen drama, Grey, get over yourself." No, it isn't, Neil. Yes, there is drama. Yes, there are lengthy sections of character development, but overall, Life is Strange is a coming-to-age story with time travel, murder, and global catastrophe. When your choices directly affect the stories and the character's future, you need to have these slower paced segments to build your connection with the world's inhabitants. Now, most of you would naturally assume that the ability to rewind your choices would lessen the weight of your decisions, but this game cleverly designs the narrative forks so both choices look equally appealing even, and perhaps their consequences are only revealed much later in the game. It's like a Sophie's Choice, but even then you don't know the outcome. In my eyes, this is the pinnacle of episodic storytelling, which only just surpasses Telltale's efforts. Along with Undertale and a few other games, these are the adventures which cement gaming as a new storytelling medium to rival books and films, without needing an astronomical budget and live acting. I can discuss, debate, and rationalize my choices in Life is Strange for hours, and it's great to see a game generating so much discussion days, or even weeks, or even years after its conclusion. I can't wait to see how Don't Nod will expand this experience with their new game, which has been released recently, and I really cannot wait to play. Well, sirs, that pretty much wraps it up. The great thing with indie games is the variety. There's no AAA filter. People develop what they want with great success, and with some not so much success. Now, before you go ranting in the comments below, I just want to include some special mentions, such as Hellblade, which I really want to play, Ori and the Blind Forest, which I've actually seen a playthrough, and of course, Observer, which I've recently played and finished on the channel. If your indie game has still not been mentioned, or maybe you sirs, I dare say, disagree with my choices, then please let me know in the comments below, and hopefully I'll be able to play them on the channel. In the meantime, sirs, thank you sirs for watching this review. Don't forget to bestow a like if you enjoyed it, and to subscribe to become a sir today. So as always, stay cool, stay classy, and I will see you sirs in the next episode.